I remember Gubby. There are people who can tell a story, but there are others who are able to bend a story or imagine one to elicit great mirth. Such stories, when exaggerated, are called tall tales. The Americans call such stories tall tales. The book of Ecclesiastes tells us that there is a time and a season for everything under heaven. So I can safely say that there is a time for tall tales, stories that are often outrageously improbable. Of course, a tall tale is not the same thing as a lie. A lie is what politicians tell. A lie is a bold-faced untruth. On the other hand, a tall tale is merely an invention whose truths belong in a dimension that denies access to unimaginative mortals. The little business of winnowing out the lies from tall tales brings me to the doorstep of a master storyteller, and indeed, Grubay was a master storyteller. The immortal Gubby of the Carnage, Grenada. Grubay was a hulk of a man, and indeed his huge physical stature was of a piece with the stories that he told. A brilliant man, Grubay was an exceptional diver whose heroic feats won him scores of accolades in the wake of Hurricane Janet, a monstrous storm that slammed Grenada in the year 1955. And how I hope that we do not have any hurricane this year, 2025. Grubay was one of the brave souls who were able to dive near the St. George's Pier and retrieve canned goods and other items that had sunk to the floor. Three-dimensional images of Gubby are hung on the walls of my mind. I can see him still surrounded by a flock of youngsters, Depo and them. And Depo wrote about Grubay in his book, who gave him their undivided attention as he narrates experiences, real or otherwise. In my mind's digital photograph, Grubay assumes the manner of a distinguished professor. I see him decanting juicy story after story after story, standing near the Empire Cinema. To tell you the truth, Grubay's stories have more cinematic heft than those told by the Empire's so-called silver screen. The Empire Cinema, a long gone relic. Many of Grubay's stories were plumed creatures from the sea. For instance, there was a story of a swimming race he had with a shark. Now tell me something. A man having a swimming race with a shark. As told by Grubay, the epic contest began in the waters near the Silver Sands Hotel in Grand Anse and was to culminate near the W.E. Julian store on the Carnage. Well, yes, in truth, there were swimming races that started in Grand Anse and ended on the Carnage years ago. Grubay recalled that at the time he crossed the finish line, boy, the poor shark The poor shark was collapsing from exhaustion in the sea near Mount Pandy Beach, my favorite beach, almost a mile away from the carnage. There was the fight Gubby mentioned that took place between a shark and a whale in the waters close to the fire station on the carnage. And this contest made the sensitive Gubby. It made him quite uncomfortable. He did not like to see advantage. So he jumped into the water and parted the cutlass tooth combatants. What a brave man he was, eh? Well, you believe that, eh? And there was a time when six big strapping fellas, boy, they wanted to sample Gubby. You like we were there? They wanted to sample Gubby just outside the Nutmeg Bar and Restaurant. Well, in them days, boy, Nutmeg, if you wanted to have a good chicken snack, you had to go to Nutmeg Bar and Restaurant. But Grubay was close to the sea when them guys wanted to jump him. So he threw himself in the water. And you know, the man dived all the way across the carnage and into a culvert, you know, that is drains, and that led to his house. And while they were looking for him, he sat in his veranda and looked at the men whose eyes were glued on the water, waiting for him to emerge. Grubay sat there. He ate his bakes and his fish cake while the men kept looking. He went to bed, and 5 hours later, he woke up to take a leak, went and pee. And you know, the fellas were still there, the eyes nailed to the water. And what about the time he hit a ball in a cricket match? Hit it so high up in the sky that it took 3 men to see where it went. One looked until he tired, the other one picked off from where he started, where he left off, sorry. It took the 3rd man to see where the ball went. Yes. And I must include the story he told about defeating a whole bunch of bullies and pushing them up a submerged drain. Put them on under the, in the drain. This drain, the water went all the way up the drain. He beat them up and he pushed them up the drain. But after a while, man, he felt sorry for them. He felt so sorry for them. You know what he did? He felt they were hungry. He thought they were hungry. So he placed food on coconut boats. You could take the coconut and make it into like a boat, the shell. So he placed food on the coconut boats and he sailed the boats up the drain to feed the men. Same men who had attacked him. What a good-hearted person. And Gubby also told of a time, being a good diver, he was called to head up a search party. A search party of 1. You ever hear of a search party of 1? He was called to head a search party of 1 to locate a missing boy. The boy, everybody said the boy drowned. So what do you think Gubby did? He dived into the water, swam among the barracudas and the sharks, and he finally located the boy in the water, the seawater. And he was angry. He was angry with the young man. Yes. And while submerged, listen to this. While submerged, he spoke in a vexed tone to the little boy. But what the hell you do down here, eh? What the hell you do down here? Your mother looking for you, boy. Your mother looking for you. Gubby's tales were many, many, many tales. He spoke about carrying a lighting coal pot at the bottom of the sea. And while in the bowels of the ocean, he would grab all kind of fish to make fish broth. He emphasized that he walked on water long before Prime Minister Eric Gary said he was going to do so, to walk on water. And according to Dr. Winston Phillip, rest in peace, there is a verified story regarding Gubby and a neighbor. They both raised a yellow grinding stone from the depths of Hurricane Janet's wreckage of the pier, thinking it was one of the wheels of cheese that was imported into Grenada. So when they lifted it up, they realized it was not cheese, but a yellow grinding stone. Grubay was a master of the spoken word, and we had a lot of them, and you might know some, write about them now, man, write about them. Let our story live. Grubay was a master of the spoken word. So the delivery of his stories came naturally and easy. Once you're a storyteller, you don't have to put on, just talk, man. Talk, let it come out. His land tales were just as humorous as those he told about the sea. And I can't forget the one he told about a cane truck. A big truck, a lot of cane, boy, lot of cane on its way to the Woodland Sugar Factory, In those days, the Woodland Sugar Factory used to make rum and sugar. Nowadays, it's only rum they're making. So this big truck with all that cane going to the Woodland Sugar Factory. You know what Gubby did? Gubby pulled a cane from the truck, and he ended up pulling the truck and the driver. He pulled them clean off the road, and the driver looked and was confused. How the hell this man pull a cane from a cane truck and pull me and the truck off the road? And he related all those stories while his students listened attentively. Anthony Wendell the Riggs. Again, it is important for us to remember our people. So tell us, write your stories. We're waiting to hear. God bless.